So I guess when we talk back to kind of what made you pursue this challenge, we talked a lot about where it's kind of started in terms of the conversations and I guess setting up for the run. But in terms of the actual background behind how you got into running in the first place, and also how it's sort of changed your life, stems a lot back to some of the mental health challenges you've had throughout your life, including things like drug abuse and being a party goer growing up. Can you talk to the listeners a bit about what it was in your early life what was it like in the early days, and how have you changed since then? You're obviously a very different human now to the person you were back then.
Yeah, so it all sort of, I guess everyone goes through that little party stage. To what extreme, everyone's completely different. But I think the worst point of that was one of my good friends. She fell off the ridges and passed away. And I was partying at the time. And then when that happened, I was just like, fuck it. I was just super upset, didn't know how to deal with it, grieving. I was just getting on drugs from Friday till Sunday and taking stupid risks. And I call it like a drug-induced depression. So obviously, if you're upset and maybe depressed or on the borderline depression, whatever it is, and you start taking drugs, you're never going to feel better long-term. Short-term fix, a little escape from reality at the time, but it's always going to make you feel 10 times worse. And I'll know, well, I won't sit here and go, don't do drugs, they're bad. But if you're depressed or if you're going through some stuff or going through a breakup, they're not going to make it any better. It's going to be a short-term fix. And I think that was the worst of it, of the party going, and you just make dumb decisions. And there's points where I just thought I wasn't going to wake up. I'd be on a 3-day bender and have Xanax to go to sleep, and you'd sort of just lie there and think like, fuck, this could be the one. And I've had that a few times, and I'm glad that it wasn't the one, so I can sit here and have these conversations and show people that you can go through that and come out of it and then do some great things. Or if you are going through that, then just maybe think, is this the right thing for me? Long term, is this going to be beneficial to my goals, or is this a risky decision if I'm feeling like this? Because you may push it too far and you may be upset and depressed and then just have one too many pills or lines and then just go, fuck it, I don't want to live anymore, and then do make a dumb decision when you are intoxicated, not thinking clearly and thinking straight. So I think sort of went from one extreme to the other. I sort of went from like partying benders to then fitness personal trainer. I'm an extremist in anything I do. I don't just sort of do things half-hearted. So yeah.
And that's why you're on the NORMLESS podcast.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, just polar opposites. But I wouldn't change anything that's happened to me in my life. I appreciate everything. You learn lessons from all your hardships, your trials and tribulations, and I'm thankful for everything that's happened. Obviously, I would like to change some things that happened, but I don't regret anything I've done, because I'm sitting here now and I feel like I've done a lot of good things, and there's a lot more good things to do.
And you're exactly right, mate, when you draw that relationship between drug use and mental health. So we've got here the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare report from 2021. Now, mental health conditions were reported in 31% of Australians who use methamphetamines, compared to the 16.6% of non-users. So it's almost double the prevalence of mental health issues or conditions amongst those that are using those recreational drugs like methamphetamines. So, you're extremely right there when you say that it's only going to amplify a lot of those issues. So I guess, was there a point where you realized that and you made the turn, if you are going to take these drugs and you do have that addictive personality, maybe, I guess, having an addiction for something like exercise is going to benefit you in terms of your health and psychological well-being?
Yeah, the sort of turning point was for me, because obviously I love going out and partying, and I was only working a average paying job. So to afford, I used to sell coke, and that's how I'd go out and party all the time. And I just made a dumb decision one time, which was the best decision I've made, of just dropping off to a pub where their cops actually arrested me for selling it. So I got taken back to the station, and I was sitting in my cell, and there was a lady with schizophrenia next to me, banging her head against the cell, in the glass cell. And I was like, fuck, I shouldn't be in here. I shouldn't be in here. Like, I'm a good person. I just love going out and partying. And that was a sort of turning point for me of just being locked up and being like, fuck, this is not for me. And going to community service. And I was with, I think probably 95% of them were in there for ICE. And then one of them was shooting up at community service at
Yeah.
place I was doing it. And I was like, fuck, I'm just a normal guy. Like I'm a good guy. I'm not an asshole and a dickhead. I just loved going out. And that was sort of where I just went, you know what, fuck it, this is not for me. And that was sort of like the big turning point where I was like, I'm done with that, and just started training. Still go out every now and again, but like not just trying to escape something or just abusing. But that was the big wake up call, because I was like, fuck, I shouldn't be in here. But obviously,
Yeah, that was the reality check.
But
your reality check that you kind of needed to snap yourself back into gear. Yeah. So, and again, in this report, so I was just going through this report, and the statistics seem to be getting better year in, year out. And I think that's got a lot to do with people like yourself raising awareness, and I guess also the charity and fundraiser events that are happening at the moment. But 1,704 people were that died in 2021 this was caused by drugs, whether that be acute toxicity like overdoses or chronic, exposure, whether that be cardiac conditions. But benzodiazepines were the most commonly involved drugs. Were they the main class of drugs that you used? Was it
no, I had a fair few of those. It was just mainly like MDMA, pills. Just a bit, I stayed away from all like the ice and heroin and stuff like that, but pretty much anything else, like a lot of opioids and sleeping tablets, stuff like that. But yeah, just mainly coke and MDMA when I was like in the thick of it. But I was sort of having diazepams and Valiums and Xanax to go to sleep, and that's sort of obviously not a good mix. So if you are gonna do drugs, just be fucking smart about it. Don't make risky decisions.
And do you ever touch that stuff anymore? Or is it that thing of the past now?
Yeah, I'm sort of more into the health and fitness now. Like I go out every now and again and I'll drink and stuff, but I don't really like feeling drunk anymore. So I just run. I've got too many goals to feel like shit for so long, because if you go out and you party, you end up putting yourself back 2 weeks, and just you lose your weekends. And because I work early mornings, late nights, I'm always on the go. So I don't have time to go out and party anymore, unfortunately. I'm too old for that. I'm 30. I'm not getting any younger.
And I think you probably lost touch with all those people to some extent. And then you find a new cohort of people who are engaged in that exercise space. And I guess that's a good thing in itself too.